Welcome back to my channel for a very short unboxing session of the new Sony RX1R Mark III. And here next to it, you see the predecessor, the RX1R Mark II. And I want to take this camera with me tonight to Zurich. I meet with another photographer for dinner. And I want to take some first shots with that brand new Sony compact camera. Of course, in the next couple of weeks, you will hear more about that camera. I think there is substantial interest to understand what the differences are, for instance, to the Leica Q3. What are the differences to the Fuji GFX100RF? Can you simulate these type of compact cameras with a system camera like a Hasselblad X2D and an appropriate lens? And what has Sony improved compared to the predecessor Sony RX1R Mark II? Let's kick this off. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please support my work by subscribing and liking, sharing my videos, and in this way helping me to grow my community here. I'm grateful for it. For you, it's for free. And to me, it means the world. Thank you very much. All right, we are in Switzerland here. In Switzerland, we have all kinds of weapons, and we also have this type of very tiny little knives, and they have a nice mechanism. Boom, look at that. So that's what we are going to use here to actually open this thing up very carefully. I don't want to break the package. Here we go. Opened. Let's get this open, and it falls a little bit apart like a Leica camera here. It says here RX1R Mark III, and I guess we can lift this up now and can have a look what's inside. All right, let's get some space here. Let's close the tool, safety first. Boom, done. And let's have a look what's inside. Let me get the camera out because there will not be that much in the packaging, I guess. So this is wrapped into paper. And let's get this out. Here we go. It actually reminds me a lot in its predecessor. Look at that. I come to details in a moment. But it looks like an RX1R, just the third iteration. You see here, RX1R Mark III. So here we had the RX1R Mark II, and it was written and engraved here on the left-hand side at the back side of the camera. Here it's in the middle. First of all, it feels good in hands. And I think when we compare it with this one here, it looks almost the same, but there are differences, tiny little differences. Let's see what's further in the box. Let's get this out here. So we have a lot of paperwork here. If you look here, a lot of brochures. Here is a startup guide. The rest very likely is online at the Sony website, and then you can probably also download the PDF. Let's get this in here. Let's see what we have here. That's the shoulder strap. RX1R Mark III. It's leather. Nicely done. I think this is probably a good strap. You know, straps are a little bit of a problem for me, but at least for my Q3 43, I have now one, as I just reported in a recent video. Here is more stuff. Let's have a look. This looks to me like an accu, a battery, and it is a battery. It is actually the NPFW50. It used to be a different battery in the predecessor, in the RX1R Mark II. We are going to look into this in a moment. And hopefully this has a bit more capacity than the former one, because this one was always running out of power very, very quickly. Let's see how this one here performs. I guess this is one from the smaller Sony cameras from the Alpha series. Let's put it aside. Let's see what we have here. This is, I guess, the eyepiece for the electronic viewfinder. Let's have a look if we can fit this on immediately. Probably like this. Yes. And then we can fix it actually. Let's see if it sits. Yes. And then you can fix it here with that wheel. Yeah, I think this looks good. No more gaps here. This looks like correctly applied to me. Want to get it a bit more tight that it doesn't drop off. We had it differently on this one here. Here was a finder lever, as you see. You pull it down and then the electronic viewfinder slides out. Very nice, and you can just push it back. Here we have it permanently inside, and then we have an eyepiece here, which I think is nice, probably much more comfortable than this one here. This one was always a bit uncomfortable, although here I think there are also accessories which you can have, which make this a bit more comfortable. But that looks good. All right, let's see what else we have in the box. Let's see what that is. That is a pouch. Just a pouch. Nothing more. Here you can probably get the camera in, and then you can close this, and then the camera is protected. If you throw it into your backpack, what you should never do, always take care of expensive things in your possession. All right, that's it. So that's the camera. Let's go into more details in a moment. But for the first look here, it actually looks quite nice. All right, I cleaned up the table. I finished the unboxing. I also applied here a matte finish protector. It's the same size kind of as what you have for a Leica M10. And I just had to cut it a little bit on the side here, but it's then a perfect fit. It looks actually good. And we have no more reflections. I also removed the eyepiece for a moment in order to better compare the dimensions of the two cameras. And what I want to do next is see what can I carry over in terms of accessories currently applied here to the Mark III. And the first one is that I want to disassemble here the lens hood, and we have a UV filter here. That UV filter is from Leica. I always think you need to be very, very careful in UV filters as protectors, because if you have a bad quality UV filter, you will ruin the top properties of the lens. And this lens is top. I come to the lens in a moment. And the Leica UV filters, they are just really good. I could also get them from Carl Zeiss, but the Leica UV filter as a protector will definitely do the trick. So let's unscrew it, and let's screw it in here. Since we have the same filter thread of 49mm, it should actually perfectly fit. Let's see. I'm not the best in these type of things, but here we go. I think it found the thread, it's mounted, and it looks good. Right, so that's the first step. The second is I have here a lens hood, because originally there was no lens hood coming with the RX1R Mark II, which is kind of the same for this one here. I think that Sony easily could include, for the price tag we have for that camera, a lens hood, but they don't. And this one here is from JJC. It's called the LHP1 Mark II lens hood. Don't know if you can see this here. And I used to buy JJC accessories already many years back. And they just, as a side remark, recently contacted me after my video about accessories from Freewell for the Leica Q3, if I would allow them to send me their type of accessories they offer. I said, yes, of course, send it to me. I'll make a short video, review it. So there will be another video about more accessories for the Leica Q3 very soon. And this one here proves that I had JJC gear already many years back. This lens hood for sure is 8 years old, if not older. And let's try to fit it here, because it's the same filter thread. I hope it fits, and I hope it also aligns in terms of the rectangle rightly positioned. Here we go. It even snaps in. So we can actually use the lens hood we had before on the Mark II, also on the Mark III, which I think is a plus. And you also can fit now nicely the lens cap. It will go through the lens hood and then fit in a very nice way. It's very firm, solid. It will not drop off. And the lens hoods are exactly the same. Let me quickly show you if I put them side by side. They're exactly the same. And that also means if you are one of those shooters who prefer to leave this metal construction lens hood at home in the box because it's valuable, and if you lose it, it's actually a loss, then you can get cheaper ones, plastic ones, no-name ones, which will fit below this lens hood very likely, and then can be clipped on and protect the lens when you are out and transport it. So that's very nice. Of course, we also have here a hand grip. This hand grip here on the Mark II is from Photodiox Pro. It's for the RX1R Mark II. I'm not so sure if this one fits, but let's try. The dimensions of the two cameras look kind of the same, but minimal deviations will ruin the proposition that this hand grip will fit on the Mark III. So let's try to fit this, and no, this will not fit. I see it immediately, because here, if you look here, the screw is a little bit too much south, and this tripod mount is a little bit too much north if we hold it in this way. And so this will not fit. Almost the same, right? What I see immediately with my naked eyes is that the camera body here is a little bit higher than what we have here if you compare them. You see this here, but there's also a big difference in the control wheels. Here it's sitting on top, here it's integrated in the camera body. So instead of turning, for instance, the mode dial in this way, you will have to turn the mode dial in this way with your thumb. By the way, that snaps super solid. Nice. Exposure compensation. Very nice too. And also here you see this one is coming a little bit out of the camera body, whereas this one here is completely in a flat way integrated in the camera body. Very nice. The same actually applies to the on-off switch and the shutter release button. So here the shutter release button and the on-off switch really sit on top of the camera body. So they are coming out of the camera body. Here they are smoothly integrated in the camera body. You see this? So here's the on-off switch. Nothing will happen. The battery is not in it. But listen, this is very, very well done. Build quality seems to be very high after my first 10 minutes with the camera. And the shutter release button is then here. Half press, full press. Half press, full press. Very nice. Now let's have a look at the lens quickly. So the lens is exactly the same, if I'm not mistaken, by reading the announcement of the camera, which is a bit of a wasted opportunity because lenses can be further developed, of course. Having said that, this Carl Zeiss lens from the Mark II is excellent. It's a brilliant lens, and widest open f2 is just right for a 35mm focal length. And I personally always liked Carl Zeiss lenses a lot because the dreamy look they provide, if you shoot them widest open, reminds me a lot, but in a different way, in what people call the Leica look on Leica M lenses. And I think this is a fantastic lens. And it looks to me like they are exactly the same if we compare them also in the control elements. It looks the same, although, well, we should, otherwise someone will complain. Unmount also the UV filter here, make it really comparable. Let's have a look. Yes, the lens is exactly the same. I don't see any difference here. These lenses have nice clicks in the aperture. Listen to the sound. And it's very solid way how this clicks in. Here's widest open f2. Then you can stop this down all the way to f22. And the sweet spot, if I remember correctly, I've not shut this camera here for a long time, is at f5.6. There you get always the best quality in my opinion, but it is nice. And here you have also the macro mechanism. You know, from the Q cameras, you can switch into macro mode, and you see here, this is a focusing range from 30 centimeter to infinity. If you want to get closer to your subject, you turn that ring, and then you get a different scale from 20 centimeter to 35 centimeter. So you can cover all in the range from 20 centimeter up to infinity, but you have to choose whether you are in close-up distance or whether you are in normal shooting mode, and then your minimum focusing distance is 30 centimeter. Here it is 20 centimeter. That's actually quite nice. I think this mechanism is very good. And the focus ring for manual focus, absolutely no noise. Buttery smooth, but perfect resistance. So what I can already say is the build quality is of the highest standards, and it fully matches, if not exceeds, what we had before. The question is, and that's a matter of taste, do you like that mechanical elements are integrated in the camera body like here, or do you like them coming out? I find it quite good actually, being able to operate them like this, but I think I will get used very quickly to this, and also here. It will be no problem to change my habits, and I think it's well done. Build quality, 10 out of 10 points. Really good. As just mentioned, the next video will also go in detail into the specifications of the Sony RX1R Mark III. In this video, it's really about unboxing and getting a first glimpse at the new camera compared to its predecessor. What I want to do now is I want to retire this one here. So I will first of all get the lens cap on. The battery I took already out. There is also here, I think, an SD card, which will also go out. And probably before I sell it or donate it to someone, I will set it back. But I have not shut this camera for a long time. I would be surprised if this would not be in reset mode already. And that's basically it. The naked camera. No more accessories on it, no more parts in it. And what I want to quickly mention now is the difference between the batteries. So this is the Mark II, this is the Mark III battery. And just by size, you would guess that there are much more shots you can take from this battery than from this battery here. But I'm not so sure actually, because when I look at it here, we have, let's turn it, we have here 1240 milliampere hours. And in the NP-FW50, we have 1020 milliampere hours. So astonishingly enough, the capacity of the much larger battery is actually smaller in terms of specifications than what we have in that smaller battery here. That is a bit astonishing to me. Sony must have had their reasons why they went for this battery and not for the former one. I don't know what it is, and probably in the firmware of the camera they also optimized for power consumption, but I'm really curious, will I get the same number of shots with the Mark III and this new and double-sized battery as I got from the Mark II with this much smaller battery? That's something I need to try out. I cannot know now when I'm unboxing here, but it is at least remarkable that the capacity of this much bigger battery is in fact smaller than the capacity of this much smaller battery, which is half the size if you compare them. Very interesting. So that's one remark I wanted to make. And of course, retiring this one now and getting this one ready to be charged and then also ready to take it with me downtown Zurich. I really want to shoot this camera as quickly as possible. So what I should do probably is I should open here the battery compartment. I should get the new battery in, which is like this. Snaps in, nice sound. And then the SD card I will use is a Sony TUF from the TUF series. It's a very fast SD card. 300 megabit per second in read speed and 299 megabit per second in writing speed. And I guess this will go in like this. No, here it gets stuck. I never know. There is not really a norm how this works, but in this way it snaps in. And then we have also 128 gigabyte of storage here on that camera, which we can use. I also want to get the UV filter back and protect the lens. It's a very valuable camera. It's expensive. In the next video and specifications, I might quickly cover my thoughts on the pricing of that camera when we put it into context to the Leica Q cameras and let's say the GFX100RF. I also want to apply the lens hood again, which we already did. Nice, snaps in. And then we have a lens cap, which fits perfectly into this JJC lens hood. This one here, I think, is probably for transportation reasons, not necessarily always on the camera body. And you can use, of course, the electronic viewfinder without that eyepiece here. No problem. You could use it also on the predecessor when it was sliding out. And the specifications of that viewfinder is something I'll also provide in the next video. I think for the time being, that's it. We have a new compact camera at the market now. It's from Sony. It's in terms of megapixel, 60 megapixel. It has a lot of interesting features. A lot of things can be carried over from the predecessor to the new one, to the Mark III, but some things also changed, like for instance, the location for the tripod mount here and the hand grip. I can basically sell or donate with the Mark II camera. And specifications wise, this is a modern camera, but with a seasoned lens, but not a bad lens. The Carl Zeiss 35mm f2.0 Sonnar lens is an excellent lens. I remember back then when I did shoot that camera more frequently, that always created very nice footage. And for the time being, that's it. This camera needs to go into charging mode now. Let's quickly look how we do that. Here is the USB-C port for charging. That's great, of course. On the former one, I think we had still micro USB and not USB-C. And here we have now USB-C, which is the modern standard. And I can charge it, take it to Zurich downtown and make my first experiences with that new compact camera. It seems a little bit to me like 2025 is the year of compact cameras, right? We have the Q3 28, which is quite some years old, but then we got the Q3 43 not too long ago. I think it was last year. We got the GFX100RF from Fuji. I wonder if we also get a compact camera from Hasselblad once in a while. And it seems that compact cameras are back at the photographer's horizon, which is nice. Anyway, if you liked that video, don't forget to drop me a thumbs up. Stay tuned on my channel. There's always more to come. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and healthy. And of course, peace out.